My fellow modelers, here we have the Avro Lancaster, British World War II heavy bomber in the Quick Build series from Fiddlers Green. We're going to get into details how to build this beautiful kit right now. Hope you're doing well. I hope everything is going good for you. Here we have the Avro Lancaster from the Dam Buster fame. The detail. Here we have the main fuselage, cockpit and forward canopy, the rear fuselage, the main landing gear and wheel well, and wheels. Here we have the stabilizer and fin. Now the starboard main wing and reinforcement, the port and starboard wingtip. You'll discover later why. And here we have the inboard main engines and the outboard engines with the prop blades and spinner. So let us see how to build this beauty of a beast. Here with some historical footage, you're going to need toothpick, tweezers, Aleene's tacky glue, trust me on this one, super glue. I have a cutter here, it's good to have one, some scissors, and your X-Acto knife, of course. Nothing beats that. A cake decorating tool. You can look this up on Amazon, available. A steel rule to get good straight cuts, and that's it. So the production of the main fuselage with the wing reinforcement. Cutting out the main fuselage, and from get-go day one, please, you're going to fold along this line. The bottom will be flat. This will save you a lot of heartache in the future. And then you will glue both sides, as I will show you later on in the build. After rounding the top, we're going to join the front of the main canopy here. That will house the main canopy section once we're finished. And now we're doing the wing box. This serves as the reinforcement for the inboard wing panels, as you can see here. This is a beautiful build, I must say. For a legendary bomber, this was quite well done. And here we have the nose cone, what we're doing. I like to try new format. This one I'm trying to mix historical actual footage with the model build. You can let me know in the comments if you like seeing things like that. But I found it to be a fun thing to do, so let me know if you would like to see more of these when we do special edition builds. Here we're doing the bomb aimer front gunner section, and now the cockpit area. It's a pity that we didn't have for a Fiddlers Green kit somehow internal systems that we can look at through the canopy to do a plastic canopy, but I digress. It's just the details that I love. Here we're doing now the front gunner position. Please, when you need to, you can slow this video down and watch it and rewatch it to see how I formed it. It took a while for me to study it and to figure it out, but you know what? It made the job so much easier. I think it is from that documentary series, The World at War, that caused me to fall in love with the Lancaster. I mean, for such a huge bomber. And the fact that it carried 4 Merlin engines, the same one used to power their famous Spitfire and the Hawker Hurricane. So let's look at the bomb aimer section, the nose. And here you see I'm using that cake decorating tool to try put some roundness or to help form it. And it came out quite well. This was a properly designed kit, and I would say worth every penny. And here we're putting on now the main cockpit canopy. You see I'm using the brush handle to put some slight rolls in it and curve So use whatever tools you have at your disposal. It will work wonders and help in the future. Hats off to the designer. I really am impressed with how this kit turned out. And this was my first attempt to build it. I should probably try to rebuild this sometime in the future. And here we're putting in the Astrodome. I think this is to take star position, fixed positions for navigation. And I'm not 100% sure what this piece I'm putting on the front. I don't know if it was to hold the ball of the front gunner. And here we have the observation bubbles that's on the main canopy. After finishing this and feeling quite pleased with it, I decided give it a little paint job after putting in the little aerials. Mind you, although you see I put one aerial there, there's one on each side. And then we put the pitot tube there. And then I have silver paint that I mixed with a little blue to just paint the joints, and I got carried away. So here are the rear fuselage. That factory assembly looked beautiful. So historic tail section here we're putting together. It's pretty simple and straightforward, as you can see here. You see I'm using my paintbrush handle to put the necessary curves and bending. It helps totally with how you construct the model. Here's a former to give a guideline of how the fuselage shape is. We're cutting out these squares that will take the frame for the stabilizer. This is my tip on how to flatten it. Add that former so it holds the shape, the proper shape we need. And then we just add the rest. Alpha, Juliet, November. Can you imagine the wireless operator and the comms? N for November, tighten up formation place. Like I said, this goes together really well. And here you start to see the beauty of the Lancaster coming together. I think at this point here I pause to try make sure putting in that bend that I said from day one. Make sure you put that sharp angle in there. And now we're going to attach the bomb fairing, the rear part of the fuselage where the bomb bay would have been. It was quite ingenious how they came up with a plan of using a rotating bomb that will bounce then settle on the underside of the water. Also, to measure that they were exactly, I think, 60 feet off the deck, they use 2 sets of light to then make sure that they converge on the fuselage at exact height of 60 feet. And that way they manage to find out at what height to release the bomb. Here we're doing the front of where the bomb bay would be. Nice. A beautiful model, no doubt. Really beautiful. And of course, we just paint along the edge to hide the rough joint marks. Not bad at all. And now we're putting in our stabilizer. We build a stabilizer spar. It goes together quite well. And always remember to score lightly those lines so that it's so much easier for you to fold. Glue it together. Pay attention to the fact that once I put this in, make sure you have the part that says this part faces the front. Right there. Good. And then we're going to just build our stabilizer. Now remember, we're not going to glue it on yet. We're just going to fit them in place, check the fit, make sure it's there, and we're good to go. Because first off, we have to install the rear office the tail gunner. Nice. This should be straightforward how I get it done. So you can just let me know if in the future I need to give more commentary detail for it. But it was pretty decent. And this here, the nest, the curve, I just used my paintbrush handle, and that way I managed to form the compound curve and glue what I needed to glue into position. I really respect those designers who spend the time to build kits like these, to design them, to check, to test fit before they put them out there. Hats off and respect. And here we have the office. Now pay careful attention to how it's assembled. Of course, you know I'm there putting on a little paint before. I hope you like what you're seeing so far. You can let me know if I need to do videos more along this type of format, with the history mixed with the actual build, and to just get straight into it. Of course, I'd still believe in chapters, but so as not to break your concentration, I just want to get things flowing. I will leave the chapters though in the description. I must admit, I was pretty impressed with how the tail gunner section came together quite lovely. I wonder if anyone from Hallinski would dare do a design of this magnitude. I would pinch that kit up right quick. Painting the edges to add a little realism. Put some glue down. Office is open. Once we have secured all of that, this is when now we apply our stabilizer. Let's deal with the main wings. Now, although I did it this way, I realized after that I could have simply built the wing as one single unit and then install onto the fuselage. But either way works. Even at this scale, I'm just amazed at how huge the bomber actually is. And you see, to form the leading edge, I use a paintbrush handle to do it. So pay attention to that. Then we join the wingtip. Use our paintbrush handle to prevent it from being flattened. And then we join it to the main inboard wing panel. I took care of the discoloring after. So let's deal with the engine power plant. The massive inboard engine and wheel well, 1 unit. I still can't get over the beauty of this design. It's really something to behold. Again, hats off to the designer for doing this. And it goes to show that, yes, you do have a lot of nice, simple build Fiddlers Green kit, but then here comes along this one, and you have to scratch your head and check again because, yes, Although it's a Fiddlers Green kit, it's a lot more complicated than a lot of other models that you would buy from other established design houses. Here we put our spinner base in, and the characteristic chin that the Merlin engine had on the beast of a Lancaster. And now we integrate the two. So once you see where these go, it should not be a problem for you to install. Nice. Really love how this is coming out. Take time to adjust before you lock everything down. And once we do this, we then pay attention to the trailing edge of the nacelle. Is it nacelle or nacelle? And some small intakes we have here. We add for the realism. Really lovely touch. Lovely. Let us now do the outboard engines, which is basically a repeat of what we already have, minus the wheel well bay. Really, honestly, I'm impressed with this model. I know for a fact I'm going to revisit this kit one day in the future. The only thing that would make this kit better, probably, is to actually install the office, the seats, the navigator area, the tail gunner area. That's the only thing that I can see. And then when you put a plastic canopy on, this will be right up there with any of the best models available. And this is a rare subject. Forming the chin again. And now remember, this is not a race, okay? Go at your own pace to do this. You're looking at me doing this in 30 minutes, and it took me the better part of, I think, 2 weeks on and off to just get it done. Lovely. Love how this look. And now to attach. Generous amount of Alene tacky glue. Fix in position. Check the alignment carefully. Repeat the same process to the outboard engine. And we're good. Of course, when you're finished with that, you just paint. But there we have it. And now remember, night operation, so we're going to put on the exhaust shrouds. Just use the toothpick to form perfect arches, and we just glue into position. You notice a way I got bored, and in the moment I decided to put on engine exhaust on the wing to add a little more realism that it's a well-worn used aircraft. That on the wing is a mixture of gray water paint and some white water paint. So here you see I'm doing the spinner and the prop blade. For the prop blade, it's just a doubling of the cardstock. So here you see I'm forming the spinner. And now for the centerpiece, you see how I do that? I use the edge of the paint handle to do that. Now watch how I form the joints. This is how I form proper spinners at this scale. Put some glue there, and onto that, that's where I'll attach that section of the spinner. Cut the outer part that will join to the outer section, and then make cuts along the line so that when I form the compound curve, I could have used a cake decorating tool at this point too, but we glue that. We put some glue on the outer ring for the last section, and we join both together just like that. And once you paint it, it looks spectacular. Make the cuts according to what's on the plan, where the blades will pop, and fix in place. Once we secure in place with super glue, we put the twists according to the blade angles, and then we paint the edge, and pretty much that's it. Once we got the prop blade painted, of course black with yellow tips, we then attach, and that's it. And now the wheel, the landing gear. I was surprised at how huge the landing gear was on the Lancaster. It is no small wheel, okay? But here you see, I didn't have to do all of this, but to try to get it round as possible, I did what you see here. And it came out quite well, I should say. So take your time to form it. And one of the beauty with these kits from Fiddlers Green, because it's an electronic download, if you mess up the wheel, you can always print it again. Now that I've gotten the wheel, you don't need to do any of these things I'm doing. You could just build the wheel straight, but just putting in the little curves, I find, just makes it look so much more real to me. So it's just a little curve I'm putting on them. Nice. When I'm finished, I will paint. There's already a wheel installed on the Lancaster that's upside down, if you see it, you know, to add some realism. For the landing gear, we do the same like with the prop. We reinforce it with a cardstock. Okay, I use 150 gram sheet to double it, and now I'm using my tweezer to score along the lines which I'm going to bend to form the landing gear. Nice. You see how it comes together? So once we get all our folds in, we glue, secure with super glue, and then we're going to paint the inside. So paint the underside where the carriage would be dark, and where the wheels are similar color to aluminum for the tubes and the hub. Put some glue, attach the wheel, and ladies and gentlemen, we are in business. Put some glue on the base and fix into correct position. And now we have our bird on the main wheel. For the tail wheel, it's much simpler affair in terms of how to do it, But to keep the tail wheel strut firm, we'll use a toothpick. So once we build the wheel up, similar to how we did the main landing gear, apply some glue, attach the centerpiece. That centerpiece, onto that, we have inserted a toothpick. Then we put the other end on, and then we're going to put some super glue at the base of it, cut that, and this piece now we can put onto the fuselage. So you see, I just make an indent just behind the red bar, fix in place, glue and super glue. Time for the fin. Let's get this done. For the fin, we're going to make it rigid. Our main concern is how to make it rigid and how to make sure it stays at 90 degrees and securely fixed to the stabilizer. So we're going to make 2 small holes, and then into these small holes we put toothpick. We glue, we cut, and then to help with the rigidity, we'll put a toothpick in the stabilizer for reinforcement. Or you could choose what you want to your own liking. Trim off the excess, and then we paint the edges. Just like that. Put some glue on, put into position, check the right angle with a ruler, and that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, time to do our bouncing bomb. Tell you something I found out. Most of the clips I saw of the bouncing bomb, and maybe I'm wrong, but most of the clips I've looked on YouTube, it was actually a de Havilland mosquito dropping the bouncing bomb in tests. I was surprised. I was there looking. I wonder if I could find a Lancaster, and I didn't. So if you find one, you can let me know or send me the link. It would be nice to see. But take a look and let me know. So here you see, making a bomb is simple and straightforward. The only thing you need to do once you're finished is to just paint the edges as needed. The mechanism that holds the bomb to the Lancaster was done the same way like the prop blade and the landing gear. It was reinforced with cardstock and then cut. Alright, so now we put on the pieces needed. After we paint the edges, you notice how a little more realistic it looks. Painting always does wonders. So I attach one side first, then the bomb, then I could put the other side on. And ladies and gentlemen, pretty much that was it. That's what I did. Now for the landing gear covers, this is pretty much routine by now. If you have tackled everything else, you surely can tackle this and it should not be a problem. Just make sure you know that there's a lot of paint involved in terms of black paint, because 1, operation at nighttime, and 2, it adds to the realism. Don't forget to try paint your models when you're finished. It really does help. So for me, this is it, This is the special presentation I had. This is what I wanted to do for an entire year, to bring this model to you. And I'm happy that finally I got it done. One off my bucket list. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for just all your support. Thank you so much for following me. Please spread the word. I'd love to make this into something far more permanent. And you know what my ultimate dream is already? Is to see me doing this full time, and I can always dream, Here we're doing the business end of the office. What I used was 1 millimeter diameter solder wire, and I just cut them that way and just glue them into place and paint after. It works for me at this scale. You know, if you have any other ideas, you can let me know. But it works. And ladies and gentlemen, here we have the Avro Lancaster from the Dam Buster series. I want to thank all my Patreon members who made this possible for me to present this to you. Thank you so much. And you, the viewers, thank you so much. Please like, share, and comment and let me know what you'd like to see build next. Until then, one love.